Hello, my name is JLS and I'm the Executive Officer of the Gun Devils MilSim Airsoft team based here out of Nashville, Tennessee. And today I wanted to talk to you about rig setup and pouch placement. Being a team since 2005, we've attended lots of national events: Irene, Pine Plains, Oklahoma Invasion, Bulldog, Banshee Wraith, all kinds of different events. We go to one or two major events every single year, and one of the big things we notice with different teams and of course ourselves is, okay, I have all these pouches, I have all this MOLLE, what do I do, what goes where, why should it go there? And the bottom line to all of this before we get started is you have to do what works best for you and your team. What works best for me may not work best for you, may not work best for the guy standing next to me. Everybody's going to be a little different, but you're going to see a lot of similarities. And one of the things that you're going to see, especially on our team, is some of the similarities with where your push-to-talk system is, or where your secondary mags may go, or your primary mags in that case. So diving right into it, this is my Cirrus Maritime rig I've gotten from ebairsoft.com, and it's been a good rig for me. It's held up for the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. It's about to go to its third national event, and it has done exceptionally well. One of the things I like very much about this rig is the single point sling that is integrated into the rig. It actually came like this. I didn't put this together here and weave it in or anything like that. It came built in, and the nice thing about that is it allows me the use of the single point sling to do weapon transitions from shoulder to shoulder as I need it, but it also is lined to come into the back of the rig where the water bladder is, so that there's a nice counterbalance between the weight of that heavy metal M4 rifle and the 3 liters of water that's on my back, plus whatever other gear I may have back there. So that is one of the really nice features about this rig. Of course, it's completely detachable. It has your quick release tabs, so you can do other things with it if you want. I've seen other guys, well, actually I have a lot of guys cut a single point sling and run it through the shoulder pads and tie it in to the MOLLE back here for the ones that aren't built in. A lot of the RRVs that are on the team, which is the other dominant style of vest that's on our team, will do that since they don't have the side here that we have on the cummerbund. So going further, starting at the top of my rig, we'll get this single point sling out of the way. You'll notice that immediately right here, push-to-talk comms. I'm a right-handed shooter, so naturally I'm going to have this on the left-hand side. So as I'm in a firefight and as I'm shooting, I can come up on comms and talk to my fire team leads and direct them as I need to take out targets and that sort of thing. And being the executive officer on the team, communications is going to be something that is paramount for me to be able to do. So I want that in a very convenient spot. And of course, tied down into that is the radio pouch, which is up front and close and easy to get to, which I'll get into here in just a moment. Going from the push-to-talk over is my admin pouch. This is actually one of the few pouches that I've retained from the original vest. It came with a few pouches, and it's just a nice utility pouch. I have some special things in here. I will keep my allergy medication and Ranger candy, aka ibuprofen, in here. I will also keep things like my multi-tool, extra zip ties, extra CO2 for my Thunder Bee flash grenade, maybe even car keys, that sort of thing. And of course, on the front of all our rigs with the team is our call sign, so that we are easily identifiable, not so much by our teams, but by other teams as they need to liaise with us. They can easily see who I am. So, coming down, coming just across, I actually have a carabiner on the front of my rig. And I know a lot of you guys are going, what does climbing have to do with airsoft? Well, first off, of course, it's not a real carabiner. Actually, I have one on the back of my rig. But this is a handy tool that allows you to attach additional items that you may collect during the game. And as you go forward, you may be a medic. You may have medic tape that you have to carry around with you, or a number of other things. So it's just a handy place to clip extra stuff. It is a functional piece of gear. It weighs next to nothing, and it is handy to have. That and zip ties will save you a lot of headaches. Coming down, one of the primary things is obviously primary weapon magazines. In this case, your standard M4 magazine, mid caps. So I have these specific pouches, and without getting too much into the types of pouches, I have two open top pouches for my speed reloads, and I have these double stack flat pouches to bump mags from, and also to retain my magazines a little better. If I'm crawling on the ground, if I'm going through a tunnel, if I'm going up a ladder or anything like that, I don't have to worry about these magazines falling out. It's just a nice way to retain them. Obviously, depending on the environment, if I'm doing a lot of patrolling, I'm probably going to use more of these types of pouches. If I'm doing more CQB, I'm probably going to get into the shingle pouches like this, where I have a double stack and they're very easy to get out and get up and running toward my primary weapon. So that's specifically why I have these. I am, of course, right-handed, so I'm reloading with my left hand. That's why these are off-center to the left. It's the most natural place for me to pull my magazine from. Some people like them to the side, and that's fine too. Just find what works best for you. Where on your rig is the easiest place and the quickest place for you to reload from in order to get that magazine up and running to the gun as quick as possible. And then, of course, move your magazines from there to the second closest place and that sort of thing. I'll carry these 6 magazines plus 1 in the weapon. Our door kickers, our riflemen on the team, will usually end up running about 8 mags plus 1. Just depends on the individual and what their role is. I like to keep a flashbang up front in case I should have to do a tactical room entry. This is the Hikatsu Thunder Bee grenade. It's a nice distraction device that I enjoy using, and I keep that up front as well should I have to use that. It's not as paramount as getting to my primary weapon mags, which is why it's off-center to the right a little bit, but it is something that I want to be able to get to if I do need to go in and take a room with some guys. So if I'm backing somebody up. Moving around from there, getting back to the radio pouch, as I said, is a crucial piece of my gear, being the executive officer on the team, since I'm communicating a lot with other squads, possibly the platoon commander or what have you. And the reason that it needs to be up front toward my speed reload spot is I want the ability to change the channel. I want the ability to change the channel, talk to other teams, to monitor 2 channels, whatever I need to do. This is a nice pouch. It's a deep set radio pouch, which allows it to sit nice and snug down in there. And it also is big enough to allow me to accommodate a spare radio battery to put in there. Since I'm doing a good bit of talking on there and coordinating my team, I have the ability right there to get out that spare should I need it, which is nice. A lot of times I'll also carry my speed reloader around this area in the cummerbund, and it's just what works best for me. Some people like putting it in their admin pouch. Just wherever works for you that you can retain it. From there are my secondary pistol 1911 magazines. These are a little further back on my right hand side, which is actually where I practice reloading from real steel, which is one reason they're here. The other reason is obviously the radio is more important. The M4 mags are more important. I'm going to be using those a lot more than I'm going to be reaching for a secondary weapon mag for Airsoft. Now with an event like Irene 6, where it was pistols only indoors in a CQB environment, you could not use your rifles. Those magazines may be bumped up depending on that specific mission. So you can start to see, depending on the type of event you're going to and your role on the team, these pouch placements are going to change. Going back to the radio pouch for a minute, if you are a frontline door kicker, if you have your 8+ mags up here, you're a rifleman, you're kicking indoors, you're clearing rooms, the last thing you're really worried about is changing the channel on your radio. This is probably going to be moved toward the back, if not on the very back of your rig, because you're pretty much going to set the channel, you're going to get your volume tune right, and you're going to forget about it for the rest of the event until it comes time to turn it off. So that is not going to be as much of a priority for you as it is for me, and of course our team CO as well. And maybe even as a fire team lead, this starts to become more of a priority. This basic door kicker, that's going to get moved back here. Again, then these secondary magazines would probably be bumped right up here if I was in that specific role. On the right-hand side of my rig, you'll notice that the cummerbund is actually empty intentionally. Yes, I know there's open MOLLE here. Yes, I know I could put some really cool pouches on there, but I leave this empty intentionally. I actually wear a Serpa CQC holster for my 1911 pistol, and I want that area clear so that when I have to transition to my secondary, when I pull out my weapon, there's no magazine in the way, there's nothing in the way of getting that out and getting it up on target and into the fight. Moving back from there, on the back of our vests, I have a couple of spare magazines. These are mid-caps. These are for my teammates. Should they run out of ammo, I can provide cover fire for them. They can come up behind me, make themselves a nice small target, and reload from there as they need to and stay in the fight. And it's also handy to have some spare mags for our solid gunner. It's something that we've coordinated that we like to have around. So do what works best for you and your team. As Gun Devils, we generally do this for each other. A lot of us will. Some of the newer guys may not. It just depends on, again, on your specific role. Also, it's handy if you're in a stack and you need to do a tactical reload. You're getting ready to do a room entry. You're like, oh, I'm half dry. I can grab this since we're stacked up on each other. I can grab his mag, do my tactical reload, and put my other mag back away if I need to. So, just a handy spot to have those. But it's out of my way because it's not a primary thing. Also back here, I have another carabiner, actually for climbing. This is specifically there again for items gotten in the game that I can hold if I need to carry plastic cups, or if my primary goes down, I can move it to my back and this will retain it so that it will keep it from moving around forward. And of course my hydration bladder, 3-liter bladder. There's all kinds of different hydration pouches out there. Find what works best for you. Some like the slim line. I like this more of a backpack style. It allows us to, if I'm a fire team lead in a specific role and I need to carry extra ammo for my saw gunner, I can do that. If I have to carry food in here for longer ops, that sort of thing. So allows me flexibility, and of course I can retain this and get this really small and flush with these retention straps, which are really handy to have. So again, guys, when you set up your vest initially, get it on, try it on, make sure it fits well, do what works best for you, figure out your pouch placement, do your speed reloads, your tactical reloads, move to your secondary weapon system, try to get to your radio, figure out what works best for you and with your role. Also coordinate with the other members of your team, especially on things like national events, so that you don't have 4 guys carrying an extra bag of BBs. You don't need that much. So do things and definitely think these things out as you go. And practice. Practice a lot with your vest. You will find after practicing with your rig setup, as I have, over time that, okay, these pouches work really good for CQB, but not so great for woodland environment. And you'll come to learn these things, and then you can adjust your rig from there, which is one of the reasons why we like the open MOLLE systems. You can definitely customize it all kinds of different ways. You can put your pistols up here or down here, just whatever works best for you as an individual operator, or whatever makes you faster, or whatever makes you deadlier. So that's all the time I have for today, guys. Again, I'm JLS with the Gun Devils MilSim Airsoft team here out in Nashville, Tennessee. Have a good one.